I'm Brady Virtue. Thanks for watching Wildcat football. Hi, I'm David Romino. Thank you for watching Wildcat football. I'm Buzz Up. Thanks for watching Wildcat football. Hi, I'm Logan Olson. Thanks for watching Wildcat football.
Hi, I'm Zayden LaPlaca. Thanks for watching Wildcat football.
Dakota Discount RV. Our mission is to make your RV experience fun and easy by providing quality.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
Senior, number 67, Logan Olson. On the offensive line, the 218-pound sophomore, number 65, Jamison Wiles. On the offensive line, 152-pound junior, number 55, Dalton Marshall. On the line, a 245-pound junior, number 53, Lincoln Golder. At running back, 170-pound junior, number 41, Blaze Art. At wide receiver, 163-pound junior, number 25, David Lewis. At quarterback, 163-pound sophomore, number 15, Vic Jancourt. At wide receiver, 185-pound senior, number 4, Brady Virtue. And at running back, 185-pound senior, number 2, Daniel Emermino. Wildcats are coached by Russ Evans, assisted by David Williams, Ty Daly, Terry Seachin, Clayton Sander, Joe Williams, Sam First, and Dallas Shields. At this time, if you would please rise, remove cover, face the flag at center field, and please sing along with the national anthem performed by the Custer High School Pep Band under the direction of Miss Catherine Halliday. Great job to the Pep Band. Officials for tonight's contest, Steve Hilton, Ethan DeShock, Scott Lane, Genevieve Osborne, Bradley Tucker, and Tanner Tucker.
So all you're really concerned with is usual, right? So the home and the guess is mostly for putting the score on the right side.
Olson, La Placa.
All right, welcome to Custer, South Dakota here, where we're going to have the Custer Wildcats hosting the Lenox Orioles. The Lenox Orioles are currently number 2 in the state 11A polls. They are defending state A champions. We have the coin toss currently happening at center field. And we have Custer coming off a loss last week at Tri-Valley, where it ended up being 53-3. The Custer Wildcats had kicker Kieran Pasica score their 3 points on a 23-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. And then Tri-Valley drove down the field and ended up scoring one last touchdown to end the game a little early. Last year's matchup here against the Lenox Orioles was 52-0, I believe, and ended at halftime. That was at Lenox. Lenox, of course, like I mentioned earlier, is the defending state champs. They beat a previously unbeaten Sioux Falls Christian team. Sioux Falls Christian lost to Lenox 14-6. A couple of key players that returned for Lenox are Tate Gertis, number 10. He had 907 rush yards, 346 receiving yards, and had 3 interceptions last week in their matchup against Vermilion. Against Vermilion, Lenox won 35-18. I was fortunate enough to tune in a little bit towards the end of that, and looked like Lenox will pass quite a bit, as they have a couple of receivers who have been on multiple visits to some of the colleges across the state of South Dakota. I know one has an offer from the University of South Dakota.
Daniel Imramino kicking off for the Wildcats.
As we get lined up here, we're going to have Danny Imramino for the Wildcats lining up the football. He will be kicking it deep to, it looks like, number 10, Tate Gertis. They also have number 5. The Orioles also have Ramsey Williams and Cody McVeigh, I believe, back to return. Again, absolutely beautiful night out here in the beautiful Black Hills. I'm Tayton Vincent. I may be joined later on by Gage Winkler. As the Wildcats line up the kick here, Danny kicks it deep, about the 15-yard line, picked up by
Flag on the play.
Curtis. There's a flag on the play. So this looks like it will be backed up and re-kicked. So they'll back it up 5 yards. Instead of kicking from the 40, Danny Imramino will now have to kick from the 35. Good to see Danny back out there. I know last week he was cramping up a little bit late in the game and did not return after he had cramped. So good to see him back out there to get started. Again, Danny Imramino checking right, checking left, going to kick off. Kicks off. This time it is returned by number 5, Ramsey Williams. He'll take it at about the 20. Gets out to the 30. Breaks one, steps out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. There is a flag down on the play. So
David Lewis.
Our officiating crew here tonight has a couple of early tests, getting to throw a couple of flags.
Illegal block in the back on the Orioles.
Legal block in the back has been called, so that will back the Orioles up.
First and 10 for Lennox, starting.
Lennox will be starting at the 30-yard line. They'll have first and 10 here. Looks like they have number 8, Caden Holes, back in the quarterback position. They have a couple wide. Hard count. Trying to get Custer to jump early. Looking over to the sideline for some calls is Caden Holes. Quick little pass out to the side is incomplete. Caden Holes last week took over in the second half and was 18 for 24 with 184 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. The 3 passing touchdowns went to Drake Mickelson. That was a handoff there for Lennox on second down and 10. Looks like a gain of about 1. And that was for Ramsey Williams.
39 for the Orioles.
That'll bring up third down and 9. Looking wide. Pass is incomplete. That'll bring up a fourth down. It was intended for Drake Mickelson. So that will be at fourth down and 9 to go for the Orioles. Looks like they're leaving their offense out there. They're confident in this drive. They're going to take their chances instead of punting here. For the Wildcats, we've got Brady Virtue back at safety right now. Lennox has 4 receivers wide, split 2 on each side. Drop back to pass, over to Mickelson. Overthrown, just a little bit behind him. So that is incomplete. The Wildcats will get a defensive stop here and some good field position. They're going to be at the 31-yard line with first and 10 here. Here comes Vic Joncorin at quarterback. We have Danny Immermino, Brady Virtue, Vic Joncor, David Lewis, Blaze Arp, Lincoln Golder, Dalton Marshall, Jamison Wiles, Logan Olson, Zayden LaPlaca, and Carter Kern as the starting offense for the Wildcats here. Vic Joncor under center. Takes the snap. Will hand off to Danny Immermino. Immermino try and bounce it to the outside, but is tackled by three different Orioles out there.
A loss of 2 on the play brings up second and 12 for the Wildcats.
They will have, looks like Danny did not quite get back to the line of scrimmage. He lost about a yard on the play, so they'll be on the 32-yard line. Second down and 11 to go. Wildcats line up with Vic drop back. He'll take the snap. Ball going in the air. He's looking for Virtue. Oh, just missed him. Good ball. We have a flag down late here in the backfield. Came way after the play.
There's a flag on the play.
Was a good ball from Joncor. Just a little over the outstretched hand of Brady Virtue. This looks like the penalty is going to go against the Orioles.
First down for the Wildcats.
That will give the Wildcats a first down. Moving the Wildcats up to the 17-yard line. You know, now the Wildcats are probably into a little bit of field goal range. I know they lined up for a deep one last week against Tri-Valley, and the snap was a little over the head of Vic. We have a handoff to Danny Immermina, who will get down to the 10-yard line. Again, last year, Custer did not score against Lennox, so looking good early here for the Wildcats. All the way down to the 10-yard line. They've got second and 3 to go. Early here in the first quarter. That was a great hole opened up by the line. The line consisting of Golder, Marshall, Wiles, Olson, LaPlaca, Kern on an end. Ooh, looks like we had some movement. I think that one will be going against the Wildcats. The Orioles had 2 or 3 that had jumped and forced one of the Wildcats to move a little bit. Oh, it is an encroachment on Lennox. They must have crossed enough or created a little bit of contact. So now we have half the distance to the goal for the Wildcats. We will have first down and goal from the 5-yard line. Snap to Veek. He's going to take it and run. In for a touchdown. Veek John Core takes it himself. He dropped back, had some early pressure, scrambles out to the right side, close side here for us, and sneaks in right at the pylon there for the Wildcats to take the early lead 6-0. That was a great play by Veek John Core. The wide receiver on that play, I do not remember who it was, looked like he kept his defender occupied just enough so that Veek could sneak by there and score the touchdown. We've got Veek on the hold. Kieran Pasica ready for the kick. Snap's good. Kicks up, and it's good. The Wildcats will take a 7-0 lead to get this game started. What a start for the Wildcats. What a start. Exciting. You go from last year not scoring a touchdown against the Lennox Orioles. You lose 11 seniors or 10 or 11 seniors or so off of last year's team that won 3 football games. And now you come down, you get a defensive stop to start the game against the Orioles, and you punch one in. Awesome to have an excellent kicker in Pasica there. Of course, talked about her just a little bit earlier in the game. She did score their 3 points. She kicked a 23-yard field goal against the Tri-Valley Mustangs last week. So great to see the Wildcats are off to this 7-0 start. Again, we'll have Danny Imermino out to kick for the Wildcats. We'll have Gertis back deep. We'll have Ramsey Williams and Chloe McVeigh for the Orioles. Couple of penalties on that first drive. That kind of changed the course, set Custer up for a pretty good field position. This one is taken by number 10, Tate Gertis. Big block. He's still going. He's out at the 50 to the 40, the 30. Danny Imermino will come up with a stop at about the 21-yard line. Gertis had a very nice return there. He took that one at about the 25. So about a 54-yard return on the play. To give Lennox excellent field position. Lennox going with a little bit tighter look here. They went to the air often. They'll send a guy in motion. They'll send Cole Spieler in motion. He'll take the handoff, and Danny Imermino will come up with a tackle there in the open field. He had the excellent chase down there on Gertis to save a touchdown on the kick return, and it looks like we'll have a loss of maybe 1 on the play. It's an excellent tackle by Danny Imermino. Great play there. Lennox again has Caden Holes in the backfield. Quarterback, and in the backfield is Ramsey Williams. Send a guy in motion again to hand it off to Williams this time. He'll cut back, make one guy miss, 2 guys. That is David Lewis that will come up with the tackle at about the 6-yard line. That will give the Orioles first and goal. Gain of about 12, 13 on the play. Another handoff to Williams. He'll go right up the middle, drop his shoulder, was able to continue his momentum into the end zone, and he scores the first touchdown for the Lenox Orioles. So Custer scores. They kick it off. Gertis on a great return and brings them all the way down to the 20, and just 3 short plays later, Lenox is into the end zone. We've got a 6-7 ball game. For the Orioles, Wyatt Bolt will be in to kick the extra point. Snaps good, holds down, and the kick is just off. So the Wildcats will have a 6-7 lead.
6 seconds left in the first quarter. Custer 7, Lenox 6.
With 8:36 remaining in the first quarter. That was a very quick, explosive offense that Lenox had there on that drive. Of course, when you have a kick return like that one, some excellent blocks picked up on that kick return so that Gertis could break it loose and cut back across the field and take it down. Again, Danny Immermino made a couple of great plays there with David Lewis as well, making a great tackle. Lenox was able to open up a big hole there, and Ramsey Williams was able to punch that one in on a 5-yard rushing touchdown. Now, how will Custer respond? After having that quick drive, your offense will go right back onto the field. The Lenox Orioles here have a very large roster compared to the Custer. They've got about twice as many kids lined up over there across the sideline. So, you know, they'll have some guys that probably won't have to play both ways. Custer's got a lot of guys that have to play both ways. For the Orioles, it looks like Jevin Leifers is here to kick, number 41, the lefty. An excellent kick. Picked up by Danny Immermino at about the 5. Picks up a couple blocks. Bounces up to about the 25-yard line. So Danny Immermino will pick up 20 on the return. So Custer will take over at the 25-yard line, at the Orioles 25. Here, Custer again has the lead 7-6. The Wildcats' first lead of the season against, again, the number 2 Lenox Orioles. Veek under center. Snap. Flip to Immermino. Immermino will fight off the early edge pressure coming off of coming from number 88, Leif Carlson. Kind of shredded him off, but was able to, wasn't taken for a loss of 5. That edge pressure up front from Carlson, stopped Danny there, and the rest of them were able to get into the backfield. We've got a little bit of movement happening on the line. Looks like we've got a flag down on the play. We have a false start on the Wildcats, so that will back them up another 5 yards. We were at the 25. We are now on second down, and there will be 20 to go from the 15-yard line. Brady Virtue out wide. John Core under center. Orioles have 4 up front, looking like a little bit of edge pressure. They'll bring a couple extra. Hand off to, I believe, Immermino again. No, that time we handed it off to Riley Trout. There was no gain on the play, so he gets back to the line of scrimmage. We're going to have 3rd and 20 to go for the Wildcats. Bringing in a couple of subs from the sideline. The Orioles have had some good pressure here. The front line of Custer has given up a little bit of pressure, not quite creating the holes that they were able to on the first drive down there in our red zone and able to punch it in. So we'll see. We've got Veek ready to take the snap. Alongside him is Blaze Arp. We have another penalty coming from our back judge here. Looks like we're going to have a delay of game. On the Wildcats, we'll back them up again. 5 more yards. The Wildcats will now be back on their own 10. They've got 3rd down and 25 to go this time. Wildcats have a long way here. We have one back in the backfield with John Core. We've got 4 wide receivers out wide. Crazy good pressure. Veek's going to have to take it and run. He gets by 1. And number 5, Ramsey Williams, will knock Veek out of bounds at about the 18. About the 18-yard line. So the Wildcats will have a 4th down coming their way. Looks like they're sending in the punt team. Danny Imarmino back to receive this and going to punt. We have Blaze Art and Brady Virtue wide. Snap's good. Danny takes it. Gets the punt off. Short punt. Continuing to roll. That'll be scooped up by Riley Trout on the 38, the Lennox 38-yard line. Or the Wildcats 38-yard line. Lennox will take over with great field position again. Last week they had a touchdown play while I was watching that went to Mickelson, where they dropped back here from about the same distance, and there was an excellent pass made, and they'll go out wide on an early pass. Great block picked up, second block picked up. Quick little pass out there from Caden Holes to Cole Spieler. That is a 38-yard touchdown pass for Caden Holes to Cole Spieler to help Lennox take the lead at 12-7 with 6:15 to go. So that drive consisted of one play with 38 yards, one play. This quick little route out to the side for Spieler, and Holes threw a great little pass, and the 2 blocks out front by the Orioles that were great to open that up and help it out. The field goal is up and good. We've got 6:15 left to go in the first quarter. Lennox up 13-7.
Located at the east side of the stadium.
Lennox has a pretty good student section that traveled. Not huge. Custer student section in the bright colors today. Looks like they got the construction theme going on. Great to see the support out here for both teams. A long trip for the Orioles. The Wildcats just coming out of their huddle here. The Orioles are back to kick. They've got Jevin Leifers back to kick for them again this time. The lefty had an excellent kick to Danny Imarmino on the last kickoff. This one is a bit shorter. Going to be taken by Brady Virtue. See if Brady can pick up a couple blocks. He gets 1 or 2 on that. Caught it at about the 18-yard line and takes it out to the 32-yard line.
Wildcats will take over.
The Wildcats will be taken over at the 33-yard line. We have first down, 10 to go.
50-50 tickets. They'll be around to sell you a 50-50 ticket. We'll draw at halftime.
Veek again under center. You've got Blaze Arp and Danny Imarmino in the backfield. Snap, handoff to Imarmino, headed out to the left side. Chased by Gertis. Danny Imarmino gets out to the outside. Here goes Danny Imarmino. He will be caught at the 28-yard line by number 5, Ramsey William. That was an excellent run for Danny Imarmino on that one. Pickup of about 50 there. That'll put the Wildcats into Lenox territory. They'll have the ball on the 25-yard line. Excuse me, gain of about 40 on the play. Excellent run, picked up a couple of blocks out there. Had one guy to beat, and there's that excellent tackle there by Williams. And this one was handed off, headed to the left, the far sideline. Veek handed off to Blaze Arp. He will pick up none on the play. That'll take us to 2nd down and 10 from the 25 again. Great to see Custer moving the ball early in this game. Last week had some struggles, it felt like, early on, just trying to create some holes up front. This offensive line is really starting to come together a little bit. I know there's been a couple of jumps on it, but we're looking better, getting some good pulls. There goes Veek. Oh, fumbled it. Incomplete. Going to be ruled incomplete. It was a passing motion. The official
sacked in the backfield.
Incomplete pass on the play. It was not a sack. So he avoided the sack, had a little bit of forward motion in that. Good catch by the official there. Custer will regain possession. If it would have been a fumble, I believe that would have ended up being a scoop and score for the Orioles. So the Orioles defense last week forced 5 turnovers from what I could find on them. 3 of them being interceptions by Tate Gertis. So you know that he's going to be tough. Good route run by Brady Virtue. Veek John Core finds him. Brady catches that one at the 15. That will be a 1st down for the Wildcats at the 15. Excellent pass there for John Core to Brady Virtue. That was a great play by the Wildcats there. Excellent job of getting open by Virtue, finding that gap right in the middle, and John Core hit him in stride and we were able to pick up the 1st down. Hard count here. Boom. Handed off up the middle to Arp, I believe. He gets a gain of 1 on the play. We've got a flag coming down late after the dead ball. We'll have to see what happened on this one. The last one of those ended up going on Lenox. Personal foul on the Orioles. That's their 2nd one of the football game. Okay, the ball is on the 19-yard line. I believe half the distance to the goal, which should take us down just inside the... Looks like we're on about the 7.5, 8 yard line there. We have 2nd down and 3 to go. Ball on the 7. Ooh, pressure up front from the Orioles. John Core was looking to get a pass off, but was unable to. He was sacked by Jevin Leafers. On the play, that'll bring up 3rd down in goal. No, just 3rd down and about 8 to go. The Wildcats need to get to the 5-yard line to get the 1st down. We're going to have a timeout coming from the Custer Wildcats. Again, this drive started off with a return by Virtue for about 15 yards. Then an excellent run by Danny Imermino out to the far side of the field. Looks like they need the clock reset to 3:37 is what the officials are talking about there. Talking up to the booth. They need the clock to 3:37 is what they're saying. 3:37. Help our booth out up there. They're doing an excellent job, as they always do. Again, this first time out is by the Wildcats. They're in scoring position for the second time. Into field goal range with the way they lined up last week. And this one would be about a 30-yard field goal if we are unable to gain anything on this possession. Okay, both teams are back out here in position. Veek under center. He'll hand off to Amarmino. He's met in the backfield immediately. Believe that was Jevin Leafers again with the tackle for loss. That'll back us up 4. The Wildcats will send out Pasica. Last time on the extra point, Lennox had good pressure up the middle. There was a little bit of contact on the kicker, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. There was no flag on the play. Pasica will be looking to have about a 33-yard kick here. Boom, kick. It's tipped. Lennox will take it. They're going to return it. This is number 5, Ramsey Williams. Out wide, picks up a good block from Gertis. He'll be tackled by Brady Virtue. It looked like one of the Orioles got a hand on it. The kick was a little flat, which made it come up shy of the end zone there. The Orioles take it from about the 5, run it all the way out to about the 45, the opposite 45, so a pickup of about 50 on the return there by Ramsey Williams. Gertis threw a couple of lead blocks out there that looked good, and Lennox will take over here. Again, an explosive offense. They'll hand off early to number 10, Gertis. He'll bounce it out to the right side wide, chased bumped out of bounds by Brady Virtue at the 18-yard line. Great carry by Gertis on the motion there. Lennox using some of that speed that we saw last year at the state track meet and the athleticism from some of their jumpers as they were runner-up in the Class A track meet a year ago. Handoff will go to Williams. Williams running to the left. Danny Imarmino and Jackson Trant will bring him down after a pickup of 9.
Close to a first down.
Potentially 10. They're going to check it out. An excellent officiating crew here.
First down, Orioles.
It will be a first down and goal for the Orioles. Our officials are Steve Hilton, Ethan DeShock, Scott Lang, Genevieve Osborne, Brady Tucker, and Tanner Tucker. They've been active early, doing a great job. This handoff will go again to Gertis, going to the outside. Virtue chased down. Gertis will shed off Virtue and step into the end zone for a touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown run for Gertis. Lennox this time is going to line up. They're not going to kick the extra point. Caden Holzback takes the snap, looking out to the right. The 2-point conversion pass is to Cameron Smith, and good. That will give them 2. They'll take the lead 21-7.
2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the first quarter. Custer 7, Lennox 21.
The Wildcats, last time around, were able to get all the way down to the 15-yard line. Had excellent field position. A couple of plays didn't go their way. They sent the kick unit out. Lennox then returned it. Williams had an excellent return. Then they handed off to Gertis. Gertis went out wide, had an excellent pickup, and then just a short couple plays later, they go back to him, and he steps into the end zone to take the lead 21-7. There's 2:11 remaining here in the first quarter. Kicks up. This one's going to Virtue again. He's going to return it right up the middle. Finds a little bit of a hole, but is swallowed up. A flag on the play. Virtue is tackled at the 37. Return of about 17 yards. Flag is relayed in.
Sideline warning on the Wildcats.
Sideline warning on the Wildcats. The Wildcats were a little too far out there. Believe one of them potentially bumped into the official there. So that will be their sideline warning. It is going to be first down for the Wildcats on the 37.
Timeout, Wildcats.
Timeout Wildcats with 2:05 remaining in the first quarter. I'll take this timeout to talk a little bit about the Custer cross-country teams. The Custer cross-country teams are currently over in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the Augustana Twilight meet. The Twilight event is quite the experience. I was fortunate enough to be able to help a couple years while I was at Augustana. They run under the lights. I believe the varsity boys race for the high schoolers should be starting in about 30 minutes over there, so excited to see that. Their boys were runner-up. The Custer boys were runner-up in the State A cross-country meet last year. They graduate their top runner, Sean Ship, who was in the top 10 for sure. I believe he was top 5 last year at the state cross-country meet. But they return some young talent, a bunch of sophomores. Last week they were 4th at their meet, and they lost to 3 AA teams. Their 6 kids that were running varsity at that were Zane Gunnell, Zachary Cooper, Austin Drew, Kean Roosh, Aiden Dooley, and Sailor Rice. As we get back to action here, this play goes out wide. We've got some contact out. Veek dropped back, threw a pass in Brady Virtue's direction. It looks like Virtue and Spieler got a little tangled up there on the play out wide. The flag came down in the backfield late. There's a personal foul on the Wildcats. The Wildcats will be backed up. I was looking out to where the ball was going, so I did not see what exactly happened back there, but nonetheless, we've got another flag thrown. That'll back the Wildcats up. It'll be 1st and 25 from the 21-yard line. Wildcats need to get all the way to the 46 to get a first down. Wildcats jump. That was wide there. A little bit of the youth showing for the Wildcats on that play there. The Wildcats have to play some freshmen and sophomores, some heavy minutes here, lots of snaps. So some early season mishaps. That'll back the Wildcats up again. They'll now have 30 to go. Now, we already saw Emermino back there is capable of some big plays. We've found Brady Virtue on the – John Core has found Brady Virtue on the outside a couple times here for some passes, so we'll see what the Wildcats drop. Hand off to Emermino. He sheds a tackle, gets out to the outside. He will get all the way up to the 31-yard line. Great carry by Emermino there, 16-yard pickup. And that will be second down. They'll still have 14 yards to go, but there's movement. Some excellent movement there. Great stiff arm that he had. Out wide, the tackle was made by Cole Spieler out there. Forced Emermino out of bounds. Or Emermino could have gone the distance. John Core drops back, pass complete. Looks like it was to Danny Emermino. A short pickup. We've got the official talking to the Oriole. coach over there. Looks like 3rd down and 10. Okay, back to the original line of scrimmage on this play after a couple of Wildcat penalties. And we're backed up all the way to the 15. So great action on the last 2 plays. Let's see if the Wildcats can string together a 3rd one here and get themselves a 1st down. Pitch to Imermino. Imermino slips in the backfield.
Loss on the play. It'll bring up 4th and long for the Wildcats.
Number 88, Leaf Carlson, again off the end with pressure, was able to force Imermino to have to change direction. When he changed direction, he slipped up, and Lennox was able to kind of fall on top of it, and he was down. Snap high. Imermino catches it. This punt, much better. This is number 2, Drake Mickelson on the return. Stutters, gets a 1 defender to miss, and he will return it back to the line of scrimmage for the Wildcats. A return of about 20 yards.
Orioles will start in Wildcat territory, 1st and 10 Lennox.
The Orioles will be into Wildcat territory as they get the ball here. Great field position. They have Jamin Huntington, who was also in at quarterback a bit last week. He's in at quarterback on this possession. He drops back, looks left, throws the pass. That pass is broken up by Jackson Trant. The pass was intended for Mickelson. That'll bring up 2nd down for the Orioles. Again, last week, Mickelson had 124 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rush touchdown. So he scored 4 of their 5 touchdowns last week. He has a USD offer. Peru State and the USF Cougars have offered him that I could find. Huge hole up the middle, and that will be Ramsey William taking it to the end zone from the 32-yard line. So a 32-yard touchdown run there for Williams. Excellent blocking up front there on that possession for the Orioles. They are going to snap it, hand it off to Williams again. Williams is going to find the end zone for the 2-point conversion. That'll take the Orioles to 29. 7-29. There's 9 seconds left in the first quarter here, so the Orioles will kick off yet here in the first. These Orioles sure can score in bunches and can score quickly. When their defense is able to get a stop, which on the last couple of possessions, their defense has not only gotten a stop, but they've gotten a great return on the 2. So they've put themselves into excellent field position and then just taken very few plays to punch it then into the end zone. Let's see how the Wildcats respond. Again, their matchup last year against the Orioles was 52-0. They did not score, so the Wildcats this year put up those early points. They took the lead, and now there are 29 unanswered points for the Orioles. Let's see if the Wildcats can get something going here on the return. Imermino back deep, takes it at about the 15. He'll stutter, hop over a guy, and then is swallowed by a 5 or 6 Orioles. There is an Oriole down on the field. So I have an injury here. The medical staff out quickly. Looks like Lennox has brought their trainer with. I did not catch the number that is down on the field. We're hoping that it's nothing serious, but helmet came off very quickly, so he is in a lot of pain. Does not appear to be just a cramp, but we're going to hope for the best for him. It's excellent to see that we've got trainers on both sidelines here at the football game, ready to go, springing into action quickly when needed. There's currently 2 seconds left. Lennox up 29-7. And we'll take a little timeout.
Hi, I'm Kira Nelson, middle hitter. Thank you for watching Wildcat TV. Hi, I'm Kaya Ellerton, libero. Thanks for watching Wildcat TV.
Number 62 being helped off the field. I believe it is Spencer Enan. A couple of his teammates came off. He's not putting any weight there on that left leg. Really hope that it's nothing serious and it's something that he can come back from. Absolutely hate to see that happen here. It is Hunter Enan. My apologies there. The 6'1" defensive lineman. Again, hoping for the best over there. As the Wildcats, John Core back up under center, will hand off quick to Blaze Art. Blaze Art will get just past the line of scrimmage. Not quite, just right at the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play. That will take us to the end of the first quarter. The Wildcats down 29-7. The number 2 Orioles, again, were stopped. Just a quick 3 and out to start that quarter. 3 and out, the Wildcats got excellent field position. A couple of penalties go against the Orioles. The Wildcats then have John Core under center. He takes the snap, scrambles out, rolls out to his right, decides to take it himself, and sneaks into the end zone for the first Wildcat touchdown of the season. They then had Pasica kick the field goal and took the 7-0 lead. The Orioles were very quick to respond on the play. And then it was all Orioles from there in the first quarter. So we'll see what the Wildcats can do. A couple of nice plays that the Wildcats picked up. Danny Imermino had a huge run about the midway point that we ended up attempting a field goal, and the field goal was tipped at the line, and the Orioles were able to return that one for a long gain, and then scored a couple short plays later. The Orioles had a 38-yard touchdown reception for Cole Spieler. Ramsey Williams had a 32-yard touchdown run. Caden Holes was on the pass. Again, they've had a couple of quarterbacks in. And then Gertis on that 9-yard touchdown run. John Korb drops back to pass to start this quarter. He decides to tuck it and run and takes it out to the 25. Gain of just 1 on the play. We will have 3rd down and 9 to go. Tackle by Shaden Oline, I believe, on the play.
Third and 9 for the Cats.
Veek takes the snap, bobbled just a smidge, gets one to miss, stumbles a little bit, has to get the pass off, gets it off to Virtue. Virtue was unable to come up with the reception. Cole Spieler knocked that one away. Spieler hobbling a little bit over on the sideline there. 4th down for the Wildcats. Imermino will be back to punt. Gertis back on the return. Gertis at the 50. The last couple punts have been a little short. Wind blowing just a little bit in Imermino's face. Not much to affect it. Punts short, going to the sideline. bounces out of bounds at about the 42. We'll see where they mark it. Yep, at the 42. So the Orioles will take over. The Orioles send in Jamin Huntington as their quarterback. Unfortunate play for the Wildcats. Looked like a pretty good pass from John Core, and Virtue was into the right spot. Jamin Huntington will keep it himself on this one, on the quarterback option. We'll pick up about 6 on the play. That'll take them down. So it'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Orioles. Again, Huntington last week split time with Holes. Holes was starter this week. Orioles got 2 receivers right, 2 left, 1 man in the backfield. Snap taken. They're looking left right away. Ball goes off Gertis's shoulder pad, deflected just over the Wildcats' hands, and then fall incomplete. Pretty good pass there from Huntington. The Wildcats would have been right there to swallow up Gertis, but just hit Gertis in the shoulder pad and bounced off. Very pass-heavy offense from the Orioles. They've got a good front line, giving the quarterback plenty of time, but they have gone with some quick short routes as the Wildcats have to play back off a ways. That pass will be complete out wide on the left side to Gertis. That'll be enough to pick a 1st down. I'll give them a fresh set of downs here. We'll also stop the clock. The Orioles also have an excellent counterattack when they're handing off to Williams there. Their front line's created a couple of nice holes. Of course, their pass game creates so much chaos. Outside's plugged up a little bit for the Wildcats. That'll be an excellent open field tackle for Bodie Vanderboom of the Wildcats. Wildcats got sucked in a little bit on an outside receiver, but Bodie Vanderboom making a great open field play there for the Wildcats. The junior coming through there, keeping the Orioles from scoring a touchdown. Flag coming out on the play. Jackson Trant, I believe, is going to be called for a pass interference. The contact kind of happened just a smidge early on it. I'm sure he'd want that one back a little bit just to keep his hands off for a split second, but this will move the Orioles to 1st down and goal from the 8-yard line. Huntington back, takes the snap, looking left, going right to the corner of the end zone to Drake Mickelson. Mickelson will come up with the 8-yard TD reception. Orioles are going to leave their offense out there. Going to go for 2 again on this one. It is 35-7 currently. Lincoln Golder blasts through the line and stops the 2-point conversion on the handoff to Spielman, Nolan Spielman. 9 minutes and 51 remaining in the second quarter. We have the Wildcats at 7, Orioles 35, as the 2-point conversion came up short. Mickelson last week had 3 receiving touchdowns. Today has had a couple balls thrown his way. Pretty good pass protection there. Tough matchup that Jackson Trance found himself tasked with. He's done a great job. Had that little bit of a mishap there. And then, of course, Jackson Trant at 5'8". And when you have Drake Mickelson over there at 6'5", they can kind of throw it up his direction. Tramp made a pretty good play on it, but Mickelson just was able to wrestle it away and score that touchdown there.
Set to kick.
Leafers to kick. That one will find its way in through the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Wildcats will be taken over at the 20.
Wildcats will take over at their own 20-yard line. 1st and 10, Custer.
For the Orioles, it looks like they have number 68, Benjamin Hebolt. They have number 78, Weston Richards. Number 53, Peter Haginga. I apologize for any mispronunciation. And Leif Carlson up on their front line. They're 4 up on the front line. Snap is fumbled. John Core scoops it up, sneaks through 2. He tries to throw it, decides to throw it away, avoids the sack. That would have probably been a loss of about 5. Pretty good play there by John Core after the snap was low. Picked it up and then threw it right over the receiver's head. So I believe there was a receiver in there if he was still not quite wide enough. But excellent play, avoiding the sack there from John Core. Lean and Wheel Dryer looking on the, like the 2 linebackers are on the edge. John Core hits Brady on the outside. Brady Virtue sheds the first tackler and is able to come up with the first down there. Excellent pass by Veek. Excellent pass by John Core there to Virtue. Virtue ran a nice crisp route, was able to create a little separation, and then the delivery was on time, which allowed for Virtue to turn, shed the first defender, and pick up a couple extra yards. Looked like had he shed one more, he would have potentially had a chance at an even bigger pickup there, but we won't complain. We'll take the first down here for the Wildcats. Snap, bobbled just a smidge. Out wide to Virtue. Virtue brings it back towards the middle. He'll pick up about 2 on the play. So we got back-to-back receptions. Looking good here. The O-line for the Wildcats looking like they've been putting in the work this week at practice and figured out some of those gaps and the holes that were created last week, and they're giving Veek a little bit more time in the backfield to find his receivers. Receivers are doing a great job of running some crisp routes there. We've got Virtue out wide. To the left here. And Will Kimball out wide to the right. John Core will look left. Passes over to the top. It's going to be intercepted by Mickelson. Pass was just a little over Virtue's head. I don't know. Looked like he slowed up maybe a little bit before he took off one more time. Just got jammed up and bumped into the defender, slowed him down just a smidge, and it was over the top of his hands. Mickelson was able to come across to the sideline, pick it off, get a foot down before going out of bounds, and Virtue tackling him there. So the Orioles will take over at the 36-yard line. Motion coming. Handoff to Williams. Williams will bounce out to the left, all the way out to the left side. There's Virtue. Virtue will make an excellent open field tackle, but not before a pickup of 30 for the Orioles. Orioles very explosive offense here. You can see why they scored so many points last year. You can see why they were able to pick up the 5 touchdowns last week. Big stiff arm from Gertis, but on the tackle there for the Wildcats is Riley Trout. Trout looked like he was maybe going to be stiff-armed all the way to the ground. He just keeps on fighting, holds on, and is able to wrestle Gertis to the ground. First down, though, for the Orioles. Right at the line. Quick one out to Mickelson. Pass is incomplete. That pass was just a little bit behind him from Jamin Huntington.
Second and 10, Lennox.
As Xavier Holquist was right there, ready to be there on the stop as well. Holquist looks like he's tasked at defending Mickelson here. The Orioles bring in their formation in a little bit tighter. Couple of receivers. Hand off to Gertis after he goes in motion. Blaze fights, tackles, Blaze Arp, and I believe Holquist there to tackle there. Oh, Brady Virtue was the other one in on that one. So Blaze Arp and Virtue are able to bring him down. So there's a gain of about 2. So we have 3rd and 8 to go for the Orioles. This would be a big stop here for the Wildcats. Force a 4th down. That'll be the first one that they'll force since that opening possession where the Wildcats were able to knock them off. Oh, just over the top of 2 defenders. Excellent pass there from Jamin Huntington. Beautiful ball that was thrown. And Mickelson will come up with his 2nd receiving touchdown of the day on the 27-yard pass. So after a quiet first quarter, Drake Mickelson now finds himself heavily involved as he has the 8-yard touchdown reception. He has an interception and a 27-yard touchdown reception.
Timeout, Lennox.
Timeout, Orioles. The Orioles were lining up for a field goal. There is 7:07 left to play here. The defense for the Wildcats have been out on the field a majority of this game. Continuing to fight. They're looking much better than last week, but when you're against an offense that's as explosive as this one, those little mistakes that happen are being capitalized on almost every time. The Orioles have taken advantage of that length and the size that they have and have thrown at some of the matchups that they've liked. And the Wildcats have been making some great plays, but the Orioles have been able to wrestle a couple of those away in the end zone and come up with some touchdowns. Snaps a little low, bobbled. Wildcats were close. Not quite close enough. Flag on the field. Field goal was no good. We'll see what the flag is. Looks like it's going on the Wildcats. Will the Orioles go for 2 here? Believe they hit the center on. Was it that they hit the center on the play? I am not quite sure what happened on that one, but I know that the penalty is on the Wildcats. So they're looking over there to the Orioles, telling the Orioles. Head coach Sean Flanagan over there. It looks like roughing the kicker on the Wildcats, and the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff, I believe is what happened on that one. So we have 41-7 now is the score. After the 27-yard touchdown reception for Mickelson and the pass coming from Huntington, if my memory is right. Doing my best to write down a couple things here, but have definitely missed getting a few things down in my notes. But I believe it was Huntington in on that play, as they've got the 2 quarterbacks that rotate through. So the kickoff is going to happen now on the 45-yard line. He might try and just kick this one right through the uprights. We'll see what he does here. Squibs it. No, doesn't quite squib it. Kicked up in the air, but caught on the 5 by Virtue. Virtue shoves one of his own teammates in for a block and then gets swallowed up at the 20.
Virtue on the return. Wildcats take over, 1st and 10.
The Wildcats will take over at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 with the Orioles up 41-7. Seen some good things, some positives out of the Wildcats. Some improvement from week 1 in the game that I was watching there. The front line has held themselves together a little bit. There's been a little bit of pressure on the outside there from the Orioles. The Orioles look like they've put some different subs in here. I'll try and find a couple numbers. Quick handoff to Blazart, and there'll be 3 Orioles there for the tackle. Looks like Nolan Spielman was in on one. Jacob Capon was also in on there. They've got George Scott out wide at cornerback. Aiden Hansen at the other cornerback. Tyler Antone in at one of the linebackers. Mickelson and Gertis still both back deep. And Maxwell Wheeldryer at another linebacker. John Core back, takes the snap. That pass is almost picked off by Aiden Hansen, but it was incomplete. The ball hit the ground before he was able to get his hands under there, as John Core was looking towards Imermino out there on a quick little out route, and Hansen was able to jump in front of that one, and fortunately for the Wildcats, they avoid the interception. That will bring up 3rd down and 11, though, on this play. Like I said, the Wildcats line are doing a better job of giving John Core a little bit more time to make some decisions. The speed and quickness outside that the Orioles have. Danny going out wide, stutters, cuts it back across the field. He finds an opening. Imarmino crosses the 50. Will he get caught by Mickelson? He will. And they throw a flag. Probably another sideline penalty. Imarmino had taken it. Looked like he'd stuttered in the backfield, was maybe going to go down for a loss. He cuts it all the way back to his right side, goes all the way up the right sideline, and picked up 50 on the play. We have a flag coming from the Wildcat sideline. We will see. Stay back warning for the Wildcats. So a sideline warning for the Wildcats again. Very quick to happen there. Can't say that I've seen very many of those penalties being called, but there's been 2 here on the Wildcats in any of the games that I've been watching. So something the Wildcats are going to have to talk about. Coach will have to talk about and get to work, but Wildcats believe still were able to get the whole thing. Jean Core pass fakes, decides to take it himself. Little pumps made that guy stutter, allows him to pick up 6 yards on the play. So excellent play there. Good response for the Wildcats, overcoming that little penalty there. So this will be a 2nd down and 4 for the Wildcats. Again, the Wildcats moving the ball better than last week, getting themselves into some good positions, but have just had a couple of unfortunate things happen that has prevented them from putting up any more points on the scoreboard. Wildcats send a man in motion. They're sending a couple receivers out wide. Oh, just overthrown. That pass was intended for Riley Trout. Riley Trout just didn't quite get out there fast enough. Had he caught that one, I think he would have had enough for the first down and a little bit more, as there was a good block that was going to be able to be picked up by Virtue out there. That was great motion from the Wildcats and head coach Russ Evans there. The Wildcats coaching staff consists of Evans, head coach Russ Evans, assistant coaches are David Williams, Ty Daly, Terry Check-in, Clayton Sander, Joseph Williams, Sam First, and Dallas Shields. The Wildcats will be stuffed on that one. It was Blazarp up the middle. That'll bring up 4th down and 4 to go.
Short gain on the play. It'll be 4th and 3.
Imermino currently on the sideline after that big run that he had. Again, last week he was cramping up, so I hope that's not happening here. We've got 5 minutes and 15 clock winding down here in the second quarter. 4th down for the Wildcats. Snap, bobbled by Johncore. He's going to get it. Scrambles and throws it away. So we avoid the sack, avoid the fumble, but the Orioles will take over at the 29-yard line with exactly 5 minutes remaining before halftime. The score is currently 41-7. Let's see who the Orioles will have. It looks like they are going to go with Huntington again. Williams, the running back. Officials are going to meet and talk. They've got Gertis here on the near sideline. I believe Mickelson out on the far sideline, out wide for them. Their center is number 51, Mason Reichel. He's been doing an excellent job on all the snaps. They've been almost identical in every one. 42, Talon Ike at end. Handoff to Williams. Big hole created. Ball popped up, but not before he was down. Danny Imermino tackled him after a gain of 2 or 3 on the play. Also up there on the line, it looks like number 54, Cameron Carlson, number 63, David Barcher, were 2 names that I picked up there on this one. Those guys have been doing a great job up front. Another handoff to Williams. Williams will pick up enough for the first down, it looks like. Just shy of the 40, he'll be tackled by Brady Virtue.
Close to a first down, and it will be
71, Gavin Horner also on that front line. And 5th, I believe I said Carlson's name already. Orioles doing an excellent job. Quick to line up on this one. Looking sideline now for some play calls. Making sure they get set up. Snap. Look wide. Quick one. Pass broken up by Trant. Jackson Trant almost stepped in there to come up with an interception on that one, but Mickelson made a heads-up play there for the Orioles and made sure that that ball was not going to be held on by Trant. Trant lost a shoe on the play, so he had to run out, interchanged. Bodie Vanderboom quick on there. Tate Gertis with the reception. Then we've got
pass complete to Gertis.
2 or 3 Wildcats there that had to pick him up. David Lewis was in on that tackle. Blaze Arp also in on that tackle there. The Orioles will move the chains again with 3:45 to go before halftime. Quick snap here. Handoff Williams. Nope, he faked it. Huntington faked me out even. Kept it himself, went out to the left side. Pickup of about 7 on the play. Lewis was there. No, Riley Trout there on that tackle. Riley Trout, I apologize. Lewis was on this side of the field. Trout out there on the outside. able to come up with that tackle for the Wildcats. Handoff up the middle, this time Williams. Golder, Trout, Warnke, Olsen, all kind of in there on that tackle. Pass out wide, complete for the Orioles. Orioles will make Lewis miss. That's number 42, Talon Ike. Will take that one to the end zone. Looks like there's a holding penalty. We'll see who the holding penalty was on, but there is a flag down on the play. That may... Holding on the offense. One of the wide receivers out wide here after Talon Ike had made the defender miss. His receiving, his teammate out wide had been holding, so that will be a penalty from the spot of the foul. The Orioles will still be first down and 1, it looks like. Ball up wide, just over the outstretched hands. That will be to Mickelson from Huntington for another touchdown. That one, I believe, a 20-yard reception. The Orioles will take the lead 47-7. Orioles will line up to kick the field goal. This is Jevin Leifers to kick. Field goal was good. That'll take it to 48-7. Orioles. The Orioles are utilizing their receiver length, and when they get into that red zone, they have just thrown towards the corners, and the quarterbacks have trusted their receivers are going to go up and find that football and come down with it, and they have. The Wildcats have been making some good plays. That one there looked like it was maybe going to get picked off, but just over the fingertips of both outstretched hands of Trout and Trant. And unfortunately for the Wildcats, the Orioles were able to score another one. Virtue, Arp, and Imermino back to receive the kickoff. They're going to let it go out the back of the end zone. Another touchback. So the Wildcats will get the football at the 20-yard line. LaPlaca, Olsen, Wiles, Marshall, and Golder up there on the front line for the Wildcats. There's 2:45 remaining here in the second quarter. So shortly before halftime here. John Core will line up under center. He'll take the snap from LaPlaca. He'll roll out. He'll hit Lewis. Lewis will tiptoe the sideline. He'll pick up a good 20 yards on the play, 21 on the play. That's an excellent gain. Really heads-up play by John Core. He checked, made sure he hadn't crossed the line of scrimmage. When the cornerback came off his receiver a little bit to come make a play on him, he dumped it off to Lewis. Lewis tiptoed the sideline, scampered a little bit, cut it back, and was able to pick up 21 on the play. 22, excuse me. So great play there. Again, Wildcats have been moving the ball a little bit. It's been great to see. John Core back. Pressure coming. Does it again. Flag comes out. Believe that one's going to be coming back. One of the Wildcat linemen there was caught. Believe holding. Yep, holding on the offense. So that'll back the Wildcats up. They'll be first down and 20 on this one. Lewis out wide. John Cornder center. Imermino and Arp in the backfield. They'll hand off to Arp. He'll find a little bit of a hole. The Orioles have number 3, Jyler Antone, and number 33, Shaden Oline. We're in on that tackle there. Blaze Arp will pick up 3 or 4 yards on the play. That'll take us to 6 yards on the play. There's a 2nd down, 14 to go. Handoff to Imermino. Imermino will be grabbed in the backfield by Leif Carlson. So we'll have a loss of 6 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd down and at least 20. Looks like maybe 21, 22, somewhere in there. So 3rd down. Long ways to go for the Wildcats. They have had one play already on this drive that went for 20, so let's see if we can pick up another little bit. At least get ourselves a little closer so we could potentially go for it on 4th down instead of having to punt. Wildcats bring 2 receivers out wide to the left. Orioles drop back. John Court bobbles the snap. It's fumbled. He's blown up, and it is Leif Carlson who will jump on the football. John Court is a little slow to get up on the play. Unfortunate bobbled snap there. A little hard to handle. So the Orioles will take over. Excellent field position again. They'll be on the 22-yard line. Almost into the red zone here. With 38 seconds left to go. I believe they have a couple of their timeouts left. They'll hand this one off. Brady Virtue will stop Maverick Stockwell. Maverick Stockwell on his first carry of the game. With the big pickup, it'll give the Orioles 1st and goal from the 5-yard line with 31 on the clock. The clock is still running. Orioles looking to the sideline, getting a play call. Don't know if they know the clock situation. I believe they do. This is holes in it quarterback on this possession. He'll hand off again to Stockwell. Stockwell will find a big gap on the left, off the left end there, kind of between the end and the tackle. And they will score another touchdown just before the half. There's 7 seconds remaining. That'll take the Orioles to 54. Wildcats still stuck at 7. Kicks up. This one is no good. So stay at 54 after the Stockwell 5-yard touchdown run. Seven seconds left. The Wildcats here will have a kick return.
Tickets do not have a number on them. It's a good strategy by us. Check your 50-50 ticket. If you do not have a number on it, we'll exchange it up here in the booth real quick.
A lot of jumping jacks happening over here for the Orioles student section. Let's see if the Wildcats can put a little something together here in 7 seconds. Imermino had a huge return last week and was caught at about the 25-yard line, or the Wildcats would have potentially had a touchdown against the Mustangs. Let's see what the 3-back deep for the Wildcats can do on this one. The last two have been kicked all the way out of bounds. This one's kicked short. Lewis will muff it. Virtue will scoop it up. He'll run forward just a little bit. Clock will stop. The clock might be at only, there it is, only at 1 second, so the Wildcats will have to take a snap here. The clock has had a little bit of delay, skips a number here and there. So there's very little time on the clock. Wildcats will have to take this one. Orioles up 54-7 here right before half. Again, the state of South Dakota has a 50-point rule, the mercy rule. So if the Orioles at any point are up by 50, the game will end after half. So if a team scores 50 or more before half, the game will go to halftime and then will end. But here, the Orioles, since the Wildcats had that first touchdown of the game, looks like John Core will drop back to pass, hit on the pass. It's caught by Lewis. Time will expire. It'll be a 25-yard pass for John Core. Reception for Lewis. Excellent play to go get that one by Lewis. Had he had a guy out to his left side, he maybe could have flipped it there, but there was nobody there. Did the smart thing and just went down with it, didn't take any chances. And we'll have 15 minutes of halftime. I'll take a brief break and then come back and recap it and talk a little bit about some of the other Custer Wildcat sports that are happening. Orioles up 54-7.
Hi, I'm Brady Virtue. Thanks for watching Wildcat football. Hi, I'm Danny Romino. Thank you for watching Wildcat football. I'm Buzz Up. Thanks for watching Wildcat football. Hi, I'm Logan Olson. Thanks for watching Wildcat football.
Hi, I'm Zay McClock. Thanks for watching Wildcat football.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same
Carson Drug in Custer is an independent, family-owned business that exists to improve the quality of life for their customers and to make their community great. At Carson Drug, they work hard to ensure their pharmacists and staff not only assist customers with their needs, but build good relationships that will last for the long haul. If you want a first-class pharmacy experience from a South Dakota independent pharmacy, you've come to the right place. Carson Drug, a community pharmacy designed for you.
Hi, my name is Ava Jari, and thank you for watching Wildcat TV. Hi, I'm Ava Hone, right side hitter. Thank you for watching Wildcat TV.
We connect people. Have been for 100 years or so. How we get that done? Well, that won't always be the same. But why we connect people? Not in a million years is that ever going to change. We didn't build the communities that made South Dakota. No. We just brought them together.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
I'm Senior Lincoln Robb. Thanks for watching Wildcat TV.
You're ready for your next adventure in life, but you seem to be stuck on trying to figure out what to do. Start your next adventure to the Black Hills with Adventure Rentals. See the hills like never before with on and off-road rentals. Nearly 4,000 miles of trails to explore and 2 convenient locations to rent from in Hill City and Custer. Providing the best way to see the hills and making Custer great again, it's Adventure Rentals.
When the world feels big, a small note can mean everything. Find mental health support at sdbehavioralhealth.gov.
When life gets hard and our thoughts get too much to bear, finding the resiliency within us can help us find healing. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free support for anyone in suicidal distress or emotional crisis. All texts and calls are anonymous and connect you to local resources that uphold cultural values and pave the way to healing. Find the strength within you. Find the strength within our culture. Reach out if you need help today.
How do we solve our patients' hard-to-solve medical problems? Our doctors and specialists collaborate, sharing their vast knowledge and Mayo Clinic's unique expertise. It's this working together that helps solve our patients' hard-to-solve medical problems. Monument Health, proud member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Advertising can be a struggle. Where to spend your money? Are you reaching the right audience? If you are looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region and state. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Dylan Kessler today and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
At Dakota Discount RV, our mission is to make your RV experience fun and easy by providing quality recreational vehicles, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. We're proud to offer the finest names in RVs. Our big inventory of fifth wheels, travel trailers, and toy haulers allow us to save customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Come see us at either of our 2 locations, 3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City, or 11200 JB Road, exit 48, Somerset.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
Now's the perfect time to bring your tractor, combine, windrower, or self-propelled sprayer into Grossenberg Implement for an air conditioner checkup. For just $150, their certified techs will inspect and make sure your AC is running at peak performance, so you can stay cool in the field all season long. Visit your local Grossenberg Implement and talk to a service manager for full details. Grossenberg Implement, keeping you cool where it counts.
All right. We've got 6 minutes left in halftime here. Again, just a reminder for those of you listening at home, the clock will be running the second half since it's a 35-point lead or more by the Orioles. Once it hits 50, if it hits 50, the game will be done. The Wildcats will be mercy ruled. With that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Custer programs that are the other sports out here in Custer that are happening. Again, right now, the cross-country boys and girls are over in Sioux Falls on the eastern half of the state at the Augustana Twilight event. The boys, again, runners-up last year. They've got some good returners. The girls' side is a little younger roster, looking to improve on times that they had last year. They snuck in out of their region last year and were a complete team at state. So again, the cross-country team off to a good start and hoping to improve as the year goes on. Good luck to them tonight as that race is happening, I believe, right now as I'm speaking, for maybe the boys or the girls, one or the other. The Custer soccer program is 0-5 currently. They've spent the first couple games scoreless, but since then have held their opponents to fewer goals and have scored one goal each in the last 3 games when I was looking earlier today. So that's they're trending in the right direction. Karen Pasica, a name that you've heard here as the kicker for the football team, she is one of those players on the squad for the soccer team. So they'll have their next game Tuesday against Douglas. So good luck to them. The last game was falling at the heels of Hot Springs 3-1. So best of luck to the soccer program moving forward there. Moving over to boys golf, they've got numbers, their highest numbers in maybe ever. I'm not entirely sure there, but they've got 24 or 25 boys out. They've been very competitive, 2 to 3 meets a week, having to change guys in and out to see who that lineup may be for the region, and hopefully a state meet for the golfers there. Sounds like their top couple golfers have been bouncing back and forth on fighting for the top, the 1, 2, and 3 spots. So that's exciting to see, a little friendly competition there, and be excited to follow those boys as they move forward with their season and see how it progresses. Then moving over to volleyball, they're off to an 8-0 start. An excellent start for them. They are receiving votes. They were in Newell last night where they won 3-0. And prior to that, they won the Custer tournament here in town. I believe they won 3 or 4 games to get that in a day. So that was awesome to see. The athlete of the week last week for the Custer Wildcats was on the volleyball squad. It was junior setter Rylan Lowe. She was the athlete of the week with 20 set assists in her game against Phillip. The Wildcats are being led by 6 seniors. They have Ava Jari, Kylie Ellerton, Lincoln Robb, Kira Nelson, Ava Hone, and Callie Trump. So, awesome start there for the Wildcat volleyball program. The program, again, receiving votes in the media polls. I don't know the last time that happened. They maybe did early a couple years ago, but just excellent to see. They have a big week coming up, though, with Sturgis at Sturgis on Tuesday. They're home Thursday versus Hot Springs, and then they will have the West River tournament at the Monument on Friday and Saturday. That's a big tournament, great competition, and 2 days worth of volleyball. So if you're looking for some volleyball in the area, head on up to the Monument next weekend and check that out. Awesome venue, awesome place. So again, some of the sports that are currently happening here in Custer and what's going on there. Now bringing it back over here to our football game. The Custer Wildcats came up with a stop early on the first drive. Again, I apologize for some of the name mispronunciations that might happen for the Orioles side. Doing my best here. I missed writing down a couple things, so I'll give my best recap of the first half here in the last minute. The Wildcats are already ready to receive this kickoff, so they'll start with the ball. A chance to come down and score. If they score, it will extend the game for sure, as they will have a little less pressure on themselves for if the Orioles come down and score a field goal or a touchdown, it will end the game. So again, the Wildcats took a 7-0 lead early on in the game. Vic Johncore scrambled into the end zone from 5 yards and was able to punch it in for the Wildcats' first touchdown of the year. Then Kieran Pasica, who had that 23-yard field goal last week for the Wildcats, was able to kick the extra point. Then the Orioles came down and scored early on in that one to take the lead, and then missed the extra point. So then the Wildcats remained in the lead 7-6 before they turned the ball back over, and the Orioles scored. I believe that was on Gertis's 9-yard touchdown run. Nope, that's the next touchdown. So 7-13. Then the next possession the Orioles had, Gertis had a big return, and then punched it into the end zone on a 9-yard touchdown run, and the 2-point conversion was converted to take the lead to 21-7. Wildcats turned the ball over again. Then Williams scored on a 32-yard touchdown run to take it to 29-7 after a 2-point conversion was good. Then in the second quarter, so that ended our first quarter at 29-7. In the second quarter, Drake Mickelson, who last week again, from what I found, had 4 of the 5 Orioles touchdowns, 3 on receptions and 1 rushing touchdown. He kind of took over in that quarter and was the main target of the next 3 touchdowns. Those all coming from Jamin Huntington, all 3 touchdown passes. One was an 8-yard pass to Mickelson over the top, then a 27-yard touchdown pass from Huntington to Mickelson, and then the third touchdown that happened that quarter from Huntington to Mickelson was a 20-yard reception, taking it from a 29-7 game to a 48-7 game after a couple of missed field goals, then one made field goal. And then that took us to 48-7 with Stockwell coming in on a 5-yard run. He had a big 20-yard gain prior to that. There was one touchdown that was waved off. I believe that was for Talon Ike. That one was brought back. And then shortly after that, Stockwell had punched it into the end zone on a 5-yard run. That then took us to our halftime score of 54-7. The Wildcats did have to run one play, so the Wildcats ended on a nice gain, a pass from John Core to Lewis. Yes, that one was to Lewis, a 25-yard pass. Lewis, like I said, to end the half, maybe would have had a chance to flip it to somebody like some of those late game plays that you see happen in the NFL, but he didn't have anyone. He decided smartly to just go down with it so that the Orioles could not have a chance to take that pitch or anything and take it back for a touchdown and end the game early. So as we come out of half here, lots of positives here for the Wildcats compared to last week. Of course, we got our first touchdown. We did miss one field goal. It was tipped by the Orioles. The Orioles have some big playmakers. They've made some really big plays. Great passing from both their quarterbacks, excellent positioning. They're really trusting those receivers. And as good as their quarterbacks are placing the ball, the receivers have gone up and just kind of out-wrestled the Wildcats. Wildcats, though, on the outside have been doing an excellent job. I mean, you've got a couple guys returning from last year's state championship team. From the state championship team, and those guys were big contributors. Big contributors. So you're up against a powerhouse, the number 2 team in the state of South Dakota. They're behind Sioux Falls Christian. The matchup next week for the Orioles, I believe, is Sioux Falls Christian at the USF field. So that's a game to watch next week if you're a football fan in the state of South Dakota. A number 1 versus number 2 matchup in 11A, of course, in Sioux Falls there. Should be a fun one. A rematch of last year's state championship game. From what I was reading earlier, I believe Sioux Falls Christian was undefeated last year, and the Orioles upset them in the state championship game 14-6. So our Orioles fans have a lot to be excited about this season. Quite a few guys come back, graduated a couple of studs, but here they are, their second game of the season. Third quarter is going to be underway. The kickoff went into the end zone, so the Wildcats will have the ball at the 20. Quick handoff early to Imermino. Imermino sheds a couple tacklers, but will be taken down by, if he'll turn just a little bit, I think I'll catch his number. I think it was Blaze Spielman, number 83 there, that was able to catch Danny. He shedded a couple tacklers there. Must have been in the backfield because he scampered for just a yard. But Imermino getting the touch there early into that offense. Again, like I said, this clock will run this entire second half regardless of the score. Wildcats, we're hoping for a score here so that the pressure is off our defense. Little man motion out here for Imermino. John Core finds Imermino. Imermino cuts it back across. He has a gain of about 15. That was great. First down for the Wildcats, so they are moving the chains. It does look like the Orioles have gone with some fresh faces for the third quarter here. I will do my best to pick up some of these names. Again, I apologize for any of the mispronunciations. I will do my best here. Again, on one of those last tackles there, it was Blaze Spielman, number 83, that's in there for the Orioles. We have John Core under center. LaPlaca snaps it to John Core. Pitch out to Imermino. Imermino. Spielman with a nice open field tackle on that one. Imermino hit for a loss of 1 on that one. So Spielman gets in. He's got his mark on this game a little bit. His sideline was really cheering him on. It's awesome to see what football brings out in these student athletes. When they're out there celebrating and you have your first string maybe on the sideline and they're celebrating a hit that a guy makes, it's just awesome to see some of those things that come out in football. Number 23, Andrew Steinos, is over here on this side. Looks like we had some movement. Number 52, Augustus Von Hayden on the end here. Number 60, David Swatch. Neutral zone on the defense, so that penalty will go against the Orioles. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Wildcats. Looks like number 30. Rylan Langben is also out there for the Orioles. Number 34, Preston Ott. Number 8, Caden Holes, the quarterback, is in on defense as one of the safeties. And number 22, Maverick Stockwell, who again took that touchdown. Imermino, he bounces it wide. He gets a little bit of a block. Here goes Danny. He's at the 40, the 30. It's a foot race. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Danny Imermino. That was a great play. Great movement by Danny. And then a foot race to the end zone. Like I talked about, that's a big touchdown. That takes the pressure off the defense on this next possession, gives the Wildcats a little bit of momentum. That one there I don't know exactly how far that one was. Was it a 65-yard touchdown run or so? Excellent play. We have Pasica in to kick. Jean Court as the holder. Muffed it. Veek scoops it up. Throw it. Oh, just out of bounds. Was complete, but just out of bounds. I got a little distracted there and carried away as a fan, just trying to help Veek get rid of that ball. I apologize. But just snap, fumble just a little bit, and then Veek completed the pass, but David Lewis was out of bounds on that one. So I'm going to credit Danny. I'm going to say it was 60-yard touchdown. I don't know exactly what it was. So that takes us to 13 points for the Wildcats. 54-13 lead for the Orioles. After Danny's big run there, it looks like the Wildcats are going to send in Pasica for the kickoff. It has been Imermino in the past. The Orioles do send out Gertis, Mickelson, and Williams all back deep. Pasica to kick for the Wildcats. Here we are. See what she has? Great spot. Picked up by Gertis. Big hole created. Kieran gonna go. Good. Gets Gertis to step out of bounds at about the 45. So Pasica with a good little position there. Just went off the hands. A good bounce for the Orioles right into Gertis's hands. He'll have about a 35-yard return on that one before he was forced out of bounds by Pasica. I don't know if Gertis made the decision to step out or if Pasica had hit him before he stepped out, but she went to make a play. That's awesome to see out there from Kieran. Orioles in motion. We have a false start on the Orioles. That'll back them up 5 yards. So momentum going Custer's way here to start the third quarter. The Orioles have number 8 Holes in at quarterback. He fakes the handoff, sheds a tackler, and Virtue will get him down at the 39-yard line. So enough for a first down for the Orioles. Oh, I missed a flag in the backfield over here, so there is a flag on the play. Second flag. I believe the quarterback or one of the other guys was talking to a teammate, and the official caught him saying something there. So we've got 2 flags on the play. We'll have to see what the officials are going to call here. They're going to have to intervene because 1 penalty was on the play. The second penalty came after. We're going to have a timeout by the Orioles here. So timeout, Orioles. We'll have to find out what happens here for the 2 penalties. The coach is going out there. The Orioles coach, Sean Flanagan, out there to discuss with one of the officials. Again, this crew's been pretty busy early in the year here. Both teams slipping up and making some mistakes. The Wildcats have had more offensive penalties than the Orioles have, but the Orioles defense has had a few penalties on this. Of course, a couple big ones on the Orioles, one that wiped off a touchdown, but then they were able to punch it in, so that one did not impact them too much. But we'll see what happens here. The ball is currently at the 39-yard line. Both penalty flags were picked up. So was there no penalty on the play, or what happened? I'm not entirely sure, but the ball's going to be on the 39. Both flags were picked up. Clock's going to start here. The play can be live. Clock will start on the snap. Taken by the Orioles. Number 22. That one's Stockwell. Again, he had their last touchdown. Golder with the tackle on the play for the Wildcats. Gain of 2 on the play. We have 2nd down and 8 to go. So both flags were picked up. Nothing was reported over to us up here at the booth. We'll just go on to the next one. They did not blow it dead. Now they blow it dead. Path was intended for number 83, Blaze Spielman. It was incomplete, so bring up 3rd down and 8 for the Orioles. The Wildcats have Warnke, Wiles, I believe Golder, and LaPlaca as their front 4 here. They have Kimball and Arp as linebackers. Snap high, handoff to
Lincoln Golder, the tackle behind the line.
Stockwell. Golder will have a tackle for loss, a loss of 5 on the play. It'll bring down 4th down and 13 for the Orioles. Let's see what the Orioles choose to do here. They haven't punted all game. Even on that first drive of the game where it was a 3-and-out, they went for it on 4th down and had a pass incomplete over to Mickelson, who has 3 receiving touchdowns on the day, 6 for the season. Pass out wide, complete to number 23. He is met by Brady Virtue. The Wildcats will come up with a defensive stop. The ball will be on the 35-yard line for the Wildcats. That pass was caught by number 23, Andrew Steinos, for the Orioles. So, Wildcats were able to score on their last possession. Again, with the clock running this quarter, the time is now down below 5 minutes for the 3rd quarter. We've got 54-13 Orioles, the number 2 Lenox Orioles, in the lead. John Corback, he's taking a shot to his left. It hits Brady Virtue in the back shoulder. He couldn't quite get his hand around on that one. The nice thing for the players here is the sun has started to go down behind the hill. The shade is now out, so they're not staring straight into the sun anymore. So that play there, Brady, I think, wants that one back and knows he can make that play. Pretty good ball by John Core there. Needed just a yard or 2, and Virtue would have had an even easier chance at that ball. But great to see that placement. John Core drops back again, avoids a fumble. Oh, he does fumble it. And the Orioles will scoop and score. He avoided the first tackle when he went to pass it, but then ball kind of got bobbled. It was down on the turf, and Rylan Langben scores a defensive touchdown. Number 30 for the Orioles. Rylan with that touchdown. I believe it was a 25-yard scoop and score. The Orioles will be in to kick the field goal. Flag on the play. Kick was good.
Another flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Officials will meet on this one. Currently it is 60-13 until we figure out what happened here. Orioles student section counting out their jumping jacks over here. So that one there was Rylan Langben, who had scored on the scoop and score. The sophomore linebacker for the Orioles.
Personal foul on both teams, it looks like.
Personal foul both ways was just reported by our announcer here, Casey Trandom. So I believe those penalties will offset. The Orioles coach out talking, having another discussion with the officials here. Well, officials have been busy tonight, doing a good job of controlling the game though. Just a little sloppy for early season. Been a lot of personal fouls both ways. I know that language was a point of emphasis for the basketball season last year and has been for the last couple of years just a zero tolerance policy for any of those things happening. So I wonder if maybe some of that's coming out there, some of the competitiveness of the players. It's good to see that they're competitive and coming after each other on both sides of the ball though. Great to see. So the Orioles will be kicking. It is 60-13. Orioles will kick. Imermino, Arp, and Virtue back to return. That one will go into the end zone, out the back for a touchback. So Wildcats will get the ball at the 20-yard line. An excellent night here in Custer for football. The weather is absolutely beautiful. It was a cool, crisp, felt like fall morning out here. That warmed up, sun shining, was great for the kickoff. We've now got the lights on as John Corr's back, taking the snap. Quick handoff to Imermino. He's met right at the line by about 5, 6 maybe Lenox Orioles. So I will not credit that one specifically to anyone, but there was a bunch of them in on that play. It looked like Wheel Dryer was the one adjusting his helmet the most coming out of the pile. So he was probably one of the first ones in there. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 9 for the Wildcats. So Imermino was able to fight for yards. Snap between John Corr's legs. He holds on to the football on this one. That'll be a loss of 10 on the play. And a Wildcat is down on the field. I believe it's La Placa. He's waving off the trainer. He does not want to come off. Now he will hobble off on his own. Good to see he was able to get up on the play. Hopefully just a cramp or maybe a guy rolled up on his ankle just a little bit. Hopefully La Placa is able to come back from that one quickly, and it's nothing serious here. Also hoping that Enan on the Orioles sideline, who was helped off the field earlier this game, I have not seen him back out there. Hoping the best for him. The Wildcats have 20 to go on this one. John Corr is going to take off. He's going to get stopped just behind the line. Tackle for a loss of 2. So I believe we'll be up to 4th down and 20 to go. I believe the Wildcats will punt on this one. Yes, they will. Long snapper in there for the Wildcats is Riley Trout. Imermino from his own end zone. This punt gets up there. Logan Olson will be the Wildcat there to down the football at the 31-yard line. So the Orioles will take over, 31 yards to go.
Orioles will take over
here
Wildcat territory.
in Wildcat territory at the 31. The Orioles have Huntington back. He'll take a shot to Mickelson. Mickelson will step into the end zone. He will score his 4th touchdown of the game from 31.
That'll be the ball game.
That will end our ball game.
Good job to both teams. Thanks for coming out. Drive
So the
safe.
final will be the Lenox Orioles 66, Wildcats 13. On the Mickelson reception there. His 4th of the game. Believe that brings him to 7 on the year. As the teams shake hands here, thank you all for tuning in. We will recap this game here. The second half, with 1:12 left in the third quarter, the game will come to a conclusion with the Orioles winning 66-13. Again, to start the game, John Core for the Wildcats was able to get into the end zone and scamper in for the Wildcats' first touchdown of the game. The Orioles then responded with a touchdown of their own but missed the extra point, so the Wildcats still had the lead at 7-6. The Wildcats had a pretty good drive on that one, had a field goal that got tipped, and the Orioles had a big return on the play and then scored shortly thereafter. It was then 7-13 after their field goal was good. Wildcats had a quick possession following that. Then the Orioles came down and Gertis scored on a 9-yard touchdown run to take the lead to 21-7 for the Orioles. Again, the Wildcats, a pretty quick offensive possession, but the Wildcats from last week have improved a ton. It is excellent to be seeing this team starting to put some things together, starting to figure a few things out, and move the football a little bit against the number 2 team, the defending state champs in 11A, the Lenox Orioles. So to end the quarter then, there was a 32-yard touchdown run by Ramsey Williams, on that run, and the end of the first quarter score was Lenox Orioles 29-7. Then what I would say was the Mickelson quarter. He was all over the place. He had an 8-yard touchdown reception in the second. He then had the interception. He had a 27-yard touchdown reception and a 20-yard reception as well, all in the second quarter. The second quarter ended with a Stockwell 5-yard run for the Orioles, and the Orioles had scored 4 touchdowns that quarter, taking their lead from 29-7 to end the first to 54-7 going into halftime. The Wildcats got the ball to start. The Wildcats then drove down the field. Danny had a 60-yard touchdown run to finish that drive. An excellent run from Imermino, the senior out there for the Wildcats. The 60-yard play there, the Orioles just couldn't quite catch him, and that took the pressure off at least for that next possession of the Wildcat defense. The Wildcat defense actually came up with a stop on that possession, but then in the assuming Wildcat possession, John Core had a bunch of pressure in the backfield, snuck out a 1, but then unfortunately fumbled it as he was going down to the ground, and there was a scoop and score for Langben on that one, a 30-yard scoop and score. And then to end the game here, the Wildcats went 3 and out, had to punt, and then the Orioles went right back in Mickelson's direction for his 4th touchdown reception of the game. I don't know exactly how many receiving yards he had, but just on the touchdowns alone, he had almost 80 receiving yards with the 4 touchdowns. This Lenox Orioles team will be a tough team to beat. They have a big matchup next week as they'll take on the #1 Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. That will be at USF Field. So if you are a high school football fan, you may want to tune into that one. That should be a great game. #1 and #2 in 11A next week in Sioux Falls. A rematch of last year's state championship. For the Wildcats, absolutely love what I see out here in terms of improvement. A group that's seeming to come together, improved this offseason. They've got some good leadership coming from their seniors. Awesome to see out of those guys. They have a pretty young squad, have to play some of those guys, and they're filling in those spots quite well. The firepower of the Orioles was just a little much on the defensive backs as the Orioles took to the air a ton tonight. The defensive backs, though, do an excellent job breaking up quite a few of those passes. A couple of them they had their hand on, and the Orioles, with a couple players that are probably going to go on to play some college football, were able to just wrestle it away from them. Next week, the Wildcats will be in Madison to take on the #4 Madison Bulldogs at the Beacon Premier Complex Brian Kern Family Stadium. Try and say that 5 times fast. But it will be over there in Madison next week as the Wildcats will look to improve upon the game tonight. 2 touchdowns in this one. Again, last year we went scoreless against the Lenox Orioles. At Lenox, they defeated us 52-0. So it was an excellent response. The squad is going to look to keep improving. If I was to give out a game ball for these 2 squads, my game ball would definitely have to go to Mickelson. For the Orioles, Drake Mickelson. He was all over the place tonight, had the interception and the 4 touchdown receptions. So my game ball for the Orioles would go to Mickelson. For the Wildcats, I would have to go with Danny Imermino. He had some great tackles, some open field tackles that saved some touchdowns, or plays that probably would have gone for touchdowns. He had a couple of huge runs. He didn't quite get to capitalize on some of those runs, but he had 2 or 3 plays of 50 or more yards. The one was a 60-yard touchdown run. So my Wildcat player of the game would be Danny Imermino. Again, thank you for listening tonight. We appreciate all of you that were tuning in. And until the next Wildcat home game, thank you.